And we're back. That was quick, wasn't it? I don't think they paid a lot for that little advertisement, did they? That went by quick. That was the $10 advertisement. How about that? All right, why don't we take a look at the markets just after weather? That's a great segue, right? What's it going to do with our markets? Well, let's take a look at corn. If I bring up that corn market behind my big head, there you go. Well, it's not doing it very much since we last checked it. May's down 1/4%, one tick. 676 1/4 last there. We've got July up 1/4 cent. To 642 3/4. So that's happening in the front. Let's go out to the back. The new crop, that's decent. 2 cents higher there. 568 3/4 is last. All right, let's move right along and see what we've got going in soybeans. Everybody's holding their breath, and we're higher by 2 cents in the front. That's May. 15.19 is last, but boy, oh boy, we've been 12.5 cents higher than that overnight. Let's take a look at the Nove. 8 1/4 cents higher out there. 13.19 3/4 is last. About 10 cents off the lows. So we're in good shape there. Again, 2 cents to 8 1/4 cents higher as you go out the curve when we talk about soybeans. How about wheat in Chicago, the Chicago wheat? Well, we're up about a penny across the board. That's the safe way to put it. Maize up a penny to 6.97 1/2. Don't really have a 7 handle in front of that yet here. And then go out to the Dees, that's up a penny as well, to 7.34 1/4, about 7 cents off the lows. And boy, 16 cents from the high. So that'll give you an idea about where we're at in the day's trade. How about the hard red wheat in Kansas City? Hard red is what? Off about 8 cents today. 8.81 3/4 is last there. Dees is off 8 1/4 cents to 8.62 even. And then finally, well, not finally, let's go to spring wheat and see what we've got in store for spring wheat in Minneapolis. Doing our tour of the Midwest, we're 2 3/4 cents lower in that May contract to 8.86 1/4. Dees is off 4 cents to 8.82 3/4. And then finally, how about this? Let's bring in the cotton. That's going to be higher, and it's been higher all day. 137 points higher in the May. 84.67. That's still about what, 40 cents off the highs. And then we've got the Dees up 126 points to 84.14. Let's bring in our next guest analyst. That's going to be Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge in Chicago. I think he's in Chicago. He travels a lot, but I'm going to guess Chicago. There you go. He's got the bike behind him to make sure he stays in shape so he can do this in a timely fashion without running out of breath. Thanks for being on the show, Ted. It's been a slow day today, as you can tell by my banter. Anything jump out at you when I talk about these grain prices?
Yeah, it's been a really slow day, Scott. I could probably just jump on that Peloton for the rest of the day. But yeah, really, there's not much in the way of news today, right? I mean, we're looking at weather. We're a little concerned about planting. We got off to a really decent start, with last week's warm temperatures, but now we're looking at cooler temperatures basically to the balance of the month. So we have some trepidation about weather, but it's not as big of a concern as what we were looking at 10 days ago. In the meantime, we know Brazilian premiums are rather low, but also our export sales for soybeans haven't completely shut off. So where do we do? We just we're sitting here in some fairly low volume, waiting for the next thing to happen, waiting for the next round of news to happen. But I'm going to say this, after the strength that we saw yesterday, this being turnaround Tuesday, we're traders, we like cliches, right? But this being turnaround Tuesday, while we are off our highs, namely in the soybeans, we're really not, under a lot of pressure here today. So this seems like a bit of a bookmark day, kind of validating the strength that we saw yesterday. And you wonder if we're going to see some more near-term strength. But I am going to say the weakness in the premiums down in Brazil and the fact that they're so much cheaper than us, that's got to be a concern that we have to continue to watch. And the long-term weather forecasts aren't particularly scary right now.
Right.
So whatever strength we're going to see in the near term, I think you really got to look at that as an opportunity to get some more pricing done.
All right. Great stuff, as always. Stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge in Chicago after this. All right, welcome back. We've got our act together now, and let's take a look at livestock. Now that we've done everything we can with the grains, let's take a look at live cattle in Chicago. Look at that June contract up 20 cents, a whole whopping 20 cents, 165.07. But we like it because it's up across the board. Fronts are higher than the backs. If we go out from June, say to December, that's only up 3 ticks, 7 cents. 172.35 is last out there. Feeder cattle, well, you were wondering, I'll get them for you. The feeders are leaders a little bit, I suppose. May's up 65 cents to 211.40, 35 cents off the highs, but you can tell it's been very quiet. October's up 65 cents to 231.55, and that's about, 30 cents off the highs there. All right, take a look at lean hogs. This one's trading heavy, folks. Just cannot find its feet. May's down $1.85 to 79.15, and June's down $2.20 to 85.97. We have 90 seconds. Ted, what do you think about the livestock?
Well, okay, let's start with feeder cattle. Considering that corn's been on both sides of unchanged today, I think it's a small win for the feeder cattle to be higher. I'm also going to say live cattle, while it has been very quiet and a rather tight range, we're about $1 off the low, and we are towards the high end of the day. So after yesterday's strength, I think that's a good thing. Like we were talking about in soybeans, a lot of times when you have a strong day, you don't need to follow it up with another strong day. Sometimes all you need is just a day where we tread water, and that is the case for live cattle. And the expectations are that, cash is going to stay strong. Even if they were to cool off a little bit this week, you're still looking at some really high cash numbers. So I think there's still more strength to come in that live cattle market. As far as the hogs are concerned, wow, we had some strength on Friday. We had some strength on Monday. We were hoping, hey, maybe this is going to be a near-term bottom. And then we take all of it back on a Tuesday. Those hogs, it's the wheat of the livestock.
Right.
It's very difficult to say, hey, we've got a low end in hogs. But one of these days, that might happen, Scott. Who knows when?
Yeah, I appreciate your content. Always good. And like I was saying to myself this morning, what's it going to take to scare the shorts out of wheat and hogs? It's just, we had some news that you thought might have run it higher, but it just petered out and didn't do it. So if that doesn't scare them out of the markets, they got pretty strong hands. That's for one thing. All right. Thanks for being on. That's Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge. He's in Chicago. We're in Nashville, where I can